Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the anime store that I used to run, and something what we refer to as the Iwase Run. Now, as I said, when we started doing Japanese animation, we started and formed the Vancouver Japanese Animation Club. I realized that in order to fully, service all the anime fans and that kind of stuff, I had to actually have an office, or at least maybe a storefront, so that people can then come in at times which are more convenient to them during the day, and then they could actually get their anime. I can actually field orders properly, and if people want to order, let's say, books or manga or borrow tapes and that kind of stuff, then they have a place they can go to get that, right? And then there's a proper outlet for that to happen. So I decided to open up a store, and I named it Anime Jyanai. And I've already, said in a previous episode why I chose that particular name, Anime Jyanai, for a name of an anime store. And then, of course, you people are kind of wondering, what does Anime Jyanai mean? Well, see, that's part of the test. You see, if you're the type of anime fan, and you say, hey, there's this new store called Anime Jyanai, we should check it out. And then you kind of go, well, Anime Jyanai, what does that mean? Then that can sort of tells me that, well, you didn't even bother at this time. The internet wasn't good enough that you could probably go to the internet and use Google Translate to find out what it meant. You probably actually had to ask somebody who's Japanese what that actually really meant, or find some sort of a way to use sort of a Japanese dictionary to try to go backwards and figure what that sentence really meant. But if you had to come up to me and ask me, Anime Jyanai, what does that mean? Basically, it means that you were probably not Japanese, and you didn't even bother to ask someone what does that mean. Okay. Doesn't mean that you're not a good anime fan, or just means you're not very, maybe you weren't, you're not that into Japanese culture. Maybe you're just a sort of a passive fan. That's one sort of thing. But let's say you did ask somebody, says, "Oh, this is historical Anime Jyanai." Well, what does Anime Jyanai mean? And then you go and ask one of your Japanese buddies or something, and he goes, "Anime Jyanai? That sounds pretty bizarre for an anime store, because it translates to 'it's not anime.'" So it's like, huh? Why do you call an anime store "it's not anime" when clearly it is an anime store, right? So then, if you come and meet me and say, "Oh yeah, like your store," but why did you call your store Anime Jyanai when this is an anime store? See, now that at least tells me that you've asked somebody in Japanese, what does Anime Jyanai mean? And he tells you, oh, well, it's not anime. Well, that's kind of a dumb name for an anime store. Tells me that, well, at least you have some Japanese friends, and you're at least partially interested in Japanese, at least enough to ask someone what it actually means. And so you have us more interested in, say, Japanese stuff, and a little more interested in Japanese animation. So that's a good thing. But you're not an otaku, not a serious anime fan, not a deep-threaded anime fan. And what do I mean by that? Because if anyone knows and it says, well, you name the store Anime Jyanai, and you call it anime, then you really know that that's actually quite a good name, and quite a perfect name. And the reason why is because not only that, the Anime Jyanai is the opening theme song for the first season of Double Zeta Gundam. So the theme song is the name of the store, Anime Jyanai. Okay. Now, the other thing that you think, well, that's kind of cool. You name your song, name your store after the name of the song. Well, that's good. That's great. Then at least I know that. Okay, you at least maybe watch Double Zeta Gundam. You knew, oh, okay, yeah, that's a Gundam theme song. Okay, that's kind of cool. And so that's your next upgrade or level of anime fan that you are. Okay. And and if you come up to me and say, that is a perfect choice of thing, I really love that song or whatever, and you actually knew some of the lyrics of the song, you would know that the song and some of the lyrics indicate that it is about a guy who all his friends laugh at him because he reads or watches too much TV, too much anime, but he knows something that will save the world from all the of all the problems that it has. It'll solve all the wars, and it'll bring peace. But no one will believe him because he watches too much anime. Okay, and then the second course also iterates the same thing, that he has the solution for all the world's problems, and but he reads too much manga, and so no one believes him, and no one can figure out what it is that will save it. But he knows what is, but no one again believes him because he reads too much manga. So that is the story of how the story of the name of what Anime Jyanai comes from. Now, Anime Jyanai, as when it first opened up, used to be a computer, I guess a typewriter repair store right beside a Petro-Canada gas station, very close close by to where I live. And so I said, okay, let's try that place. And so I started renting that place out and set up the store. And that's when I first started getting my customers and that kind of stuff in. That's my first rendition. That was on Renfrew Street. So here's the first location where Anime Jyanai was first located. It's located right here at the corner of Broadway and Renfrew. Now, if you look over here, there used to be a Petro-Canada there, and it used to have a small concession stand in there, which used to be where we grabbed a lot of food and whatnot. This building used to be split in two. We were on the left-hand side, and the pizza place was on the right-hand side. Again, another place that a lot of people always got food and whatnot. Now, first thing we noticed is that when we look down the street over here, look at that street, this whole entire road over here used to be just lined with full of our cars, of all the people that used to be, coming down to Anime Jyanai to do shopping and wait for things like the Iwase Run that we're going to do. And now they've, of course, now changed it to resident parking. But, people would then meet here, and then on a Friday or something, we would go down to Richmond and do what we refer to as the Iwase Run. Okay.
I wasn't in this store.
You weren't in this store yet.
Daisuke was.
Like Daisuke? Were you here at that time?
Yes, Daisuke was here.
The hours of playing video games.
Daisuke, yeah. I wasn't at the other store.
I just remember the first time I came was Kevin playing Macross.
Then after that, the landlord wanted to change it into some Chungli dim sum place, which is, I guess, his place over on Clark Drive was closing down, so he wanted to move it to a different location. So then we moved out and went into a location that's owned by the city, located right beside the Canadian Cancer Society, and located in a complex right beside the Broadway Church. Again, very close to each other, so that's good. It's cool. Very, very nice facility. It used to be a radio station. So in the it has a big nice lobby reception area. It has a separate room with a glass wall, which also served as a broadcast room. So that I changed that room for a place that people can play games and stuff in. It had a nice back office, which also has two more. A whole bunch of soundproofed rooms back there, which again for a radio station and recording studio, that's what it was served perfectly for. But we used those rooms back there to do subtitling, and and even had a small sort of lounge area in the back for all my friends and that kind of stuff in the back there as well. So it was a really nice laid out place. So this is the second location for Anime Jyanai. We basically moved from our first location after the landlord wanted to put in some Chungli dim sum place or whatever there. So they went to do that, and then so we moved over to the next closest location, which is this location right here. Now onto this side here, which is now the West Coast Family Center. Okay, which used to be what now is the West Coast Family Center. It used to be the BC Yukon Canadian Cancer Society head office here. Okay, and right beside it there, which is now the Vancouver Chinese Mennonite Resident Church, that's where we had our store located. It's the very first unit of this complex, and this is sort of a more upscale sort of facility owned by the city and leased by the city. And it was a really spacious spot. Basically contained lots of rooms and stuff. It used to be soundproof rooms because it used to be a radio station. So we used to keep a lot of equipment and stuff in the back. Allowed people to do their fan subbing and that kind of stuff in the back. We had the front space for retail, so we could sell things and whatnot. And we also had a separate room that we were able to set up everything for all the video games. And so we basically had a separate room for even doing all the gaming and that whatnot. Okay. So this location served as our second main location that we had for Animation Eye.
This was the first location I came to. I believe it was November of '98 I joined up.
Wow, it's a long time ago, okay.
And I was, I believe, 7.
Now, I believe this is your first location that you went to?
Yeah.
What was that about? You remember? Because I think you were still going to...
High school.
Van Tech?
No, I went to Gladstone.
Gladstone, okay. This doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in the picture. So, this location is really good also because it's right beside a large high school, which is Van Tech High School here. So we got a lot of kids that used to come over here and whatnot. Yeah. But then eventually, what it is, I wanted to buy and purchase my own place. I don't have to pay any more rent, and so I purchased the place on Slocan, right across the street from the Vancouver Gardening Society. And so there I had my own sort of space. I had space to upstairs. It was one of the conventional you live upstairs and you work downstairs type of retro type of style houses. But yeah, so I had a lot of flexibility there, and that's basically the last location that I had for Animation Eye.
Cut it out.
So this is the third location of Animation Eye. Okay. Basically, it's a store split into two sections. We had the right section again. The left section was usually empty, and we had at one time had J-Pop Help in it. We later then changed it into a store that basically allowed it to use the Anime Evolution, used it to put all their supplies for the conventions in it. The upstairs was rented to some friends of mine, and various places like Rob and that kind of stuff was in one of them. I know James was in the back half of them. There's two suites.
No. Rob
was in the front half.
Yeah.
James and also took up the back half.
That's right.
And then they expanded. There's the SFU section at the bottom here, which then ended up being used as well. So the store ran out of this section. I'm standing on the original sidewalk, which remember the unit actually is two separate units. So this is the final location that we located at Animation Eye, and we put the anime store here. SFU finally eventually moved all their stuff that they used for Anime Evolution into storage and that kind of stuff. And that was around 2004 was when the last edition of Animation Eye came out. Okay. Now, in terms of one of the funny stories, I probably remember the first one was when networking Halo was the cool thing. We basically had our game center downstairs with one unit of Halo with split screen playing that. We basically took the network cable, threw it off that balcony up there, and down, basically fed it through the front door, and then basically Rob and the guys upstairs were basically playing Halo upstairs, and they basically were playing split screen up there. The funny part was that somewhere along the way, we were playing downstairs, and then Paul, one of the better players that plays first action shooters, came in and substituted one of their characters downstairs. We started playing, and he started killing everybody, and everyone wondering where the hell, what the hell's happening? Oh, Paul must be playing. So then what happened is that we then switched controllers again, and let a normal person play his character. He walked upstairs, and then he goes, "God damn, Paul, what are you doing?" And then all of a sudden Paul just shows up behind him going, "That's not me." So that was one of the funny stories that we used to do. Like that. So again, we have some pictures and that kind of stuff of the store when we grew where the anime collection probably got the largest in terms of the number of tapes and that kind of stuff they had, as well as probably the largest number of DVDs that we actually managed to have at this location. There was a CBC radio interview that was done in this store when the person came in to do the interview and record all the sound noises and that kind of stuff for that as well. So you guys have a story, yeah?
Your DDR machine.
DDR machine.
Oh yes. So.
And power machine. Power.
Yes, that's right. So the Metrotown had an arcade called CHQ, which was at this time located downstairs where the TNT supermarket is. Okay. One day, the owner of the CHQ, which is unfortunately no longer with us, decided to sell his power machine. And so what I did is I ended up buying that machine. We ended up having quite an ordeal trying to move that machine from Metrotown to this location. Now, fortunately, the fact that we actually owned a store at this time with tall ceilings, we were able to set the power machine right at the very front of the store. Okay, much to Rob's chagrin, because apparently it was right underneath his bedroom. So. Yeah, apparently the front room on this one is the first front bedroom. So, anyway, that was one of the favorite locations where that machine that used to be in Metrotown is now been relocated to the store over here. Okay, that's a good one. Yes. This is also because of the fact we had our own store, we're not in with other tenants.
J-pop help.
Yes, so we had J-pop help in here, but we were able to make a lot more noise than we normally did, right? So we this is in the era of playing all the music games such as Dance Dance Revolution. We also had the drum machine that I built. We built that up and then we played that. Yeah, we played the guitars and the drums all the time in here. It was a really great place to hang out and play games and that kind of stuff. That's all we did for a lot of this time. So again, this ended up being the meeting place for a lot of things that we used to do. Again, people would come here. We'd meet up to either go out to dinner, or in this case, we're doing the Iwase runs. We'd now go out and hit those as well. What was really nice about Jyanai is that it basically allowed me to basically interact better with the customers. Ask and find and talk about to them about anime, what they like. Give them lots and lots of suggestions of anime that they can watch. Like, so if they've watched something like and they really liked, let's say, Macross or Megazone 23, and they say, well, what other animes does that guy make, or what else does he do? And then then I can come up and say, okay, well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of other shows that guy does. I mean, in the same line with Macross, that guy also did Orgus, and then he also made that shows like Gunbusters and all this other stuff like that, and just go on and say all these other various different titles that let's say Mikimoto has produced, all right, or other themes that maybe people like. Okay, but one of the things that was really nice is that people were able to come in and we were able to talk about a wide range of topics, not even just stuff that's not even like anime and stuff. We could also talk about popular culture and whatnot. And one of the things that we did is especially on Friday night, we'd wait until the store basically, people would assemble and come to the store. We'd wait until basically we closed around 6 o'clock, and then we'd all pile in the cars and we'd do almost like a pilgrimage, almost like a as we refer to as the Iwase Run. We all go and pile in the cars and basically drive down to across the bridge into the next city called Richmond, and there's basically a Taiwan-owned mall, which basically had this big basically supermarket. The Osaka supermarket chain has a location there. But upstairs to that place, it has one of the chain stores called Iwase Bookstore. In the same lineage as the Kinua bookstore chain. There was one of those Japanese chains located here in Richmond, and there is basically a very great store that has a wide variety of books, magazines, CDs, DVDs. It had videotapes of stuff recorded from Japan that you could rent out. as well as it has lots and lots of manga. They are able to order stuff in for me, so everything from like toys, laser discs, DVDs, CDs, all that kind of material, magazines of all with various descriptions and that kind of stuff, mangas. I was able to order all that kind of stuff. But so basically every week we're able to go down there and do this as a group, and go down there and do a little bit of shopping. Then we always find something to eat afterwards, and whether in the mall or a restaurant that's close by. And I don't think that I mean, there's very few like stores and that kind of stuff that you can get that same kind of thing. I know that you can say like there's your local comic store, or maybe your local gaming store that you play like Magic the Gathering or something like that. You get that kind of where you get to meet some of the similar people that have the same kind of interests as you do, and then you kind of meet and you kind of play a few rounds of Magic or something together, and that's sort of all you do. I mean, Anime Jyanai was a little bit different in the sense that you can come and we don't have not everyone that was a big anime fan. Some people were more interested in the games, and during the many years that we've had, we've went through quite a few video game consoles and quite a few game systems, and a lot of people were able to just come in and work on whatever game that they were working, whether it was Langrisa, Warsong, whether it was just a simple round of Puyo, beating each other up on Street Fighter, or Battle Area Toshinden. And then as the evolution of games came more and more prominent, things like the Grand Theft Autos came in, the Halo came in. Of course, we had the other game systems thing. With of course the Saturn, we had like things like Guardian Heroes, Virtual Fighter, Virtual On was the big popular thing on that one. And then of course the systems like Dreamcast came in, and a lot of various different games on that one. Of course, one of the ones I love to play on the Dreamcast was there's a Japanese version of the Magic the Gathering, which is kind of really good, which is really interesting. At that time was again very, very popular. And I remember a lot of different types of games in that sort of lineage. Jet Set Radio, if I remember right, that was another really cool one. But yeah, so people are able to come in and just play games and do that kind of stuff. We can also obviously we're also previewing a lot of anime. Just as new titles come in, we just put them on, and people will be watching different things. And again, sometimes we even get things like these strange Iwase tapes of stuff that's just recorded straight off Japanese TV, and we decide to stick it in, and then all of a sudden it's some weird contest or some weird sort of documentary or something like that. It's all in Japanese, but again, it's just because it's there. We have the opportunity to play it on several different monitors. We can have different things going on different TVs. So all of a sudden it's like some weird game show about video games, for example. I remember one, and things like that. So again, it was lots of different topics and different variety of people and different conversations going on almost every other day. It's just like you'd have something like that. And again, I don't think that that kind of store really exists anymore, and maybe may never kind of exist anymore in that sort of same capacity with that sort of same variety like we do back then. And basically go through what an Iwase Run sort of does, and kind of go through that and give that experience. All right. Okay, we have arrived at what the old location of what Iwase bookstore used to be. This is inside a mall called the Alma Center in Richmond, and the unit has now been split up into multiple units because obviously it's really hard to rent such a large space, so they divide it into that many units. But this is maybe the location of the bookstore. So this is again one of these large chain Japanese bookstores, which basically like a Kinikuniwa that you would have. You can order. They had books, they had magazines, they had CDs. You can get special order stuff from Japan with them. A whole bunch of little knick-knack merchandise and that kind of stuff, including Japanese things like posters and things like wicker and Japanese pots and things like that, eating utensils and that stuff like that you can get as well. They also had a very large videotape rental section, which you can also rent in video cassettes recorded of different things that was on TV. So they basically got some guy in Japan with a VCR recording everything that was played on TV on this particular channel at this particular time, and then they would link that and they would rent that to you, and you get your different TV shows and that stuff from them. Okay, this is a little bit popular place to get a lot of the anime and that kind of stuff at that particular time, where you can. Now, this mall also had a whole bunch of other various different stores, which we also went to as a result of coming here to get different anime merchandise. There's different stores that we had video games, for example. There would be stores that have like little things like cards. That's basically what we got. For example, Pokemon cards and Sailor Moon cards. There's another store which sold a lot of the music CDs. Especially a lot of the ones that came from Hong Kong or from Taiwan. Also, you can get from this mall. Being an Asian mall, there's also a food court downstairs, where a lot of evenings when we're looking for something to eat, especially after we finished the day, spending it in the store, we'd all come down as part of the Iwase Run looking for something to eat. And sometimes going down to the food court, especially around now where everything's starting to close down, everyone's making their good deals on food and that kind of stuff. So sometimes we go downstairs and have something from the food court. So again, very popular place. They'll order different things from them. Okay. So what you want to do right now is you want to go down below and you want to hit like and you want to hit subscribe. And that way you'll get all the episodes as I continue making some new ones here. I've got some other ones coming up very shortly, so stay tuned and get notified when those come out. All right? So, until next time, see you again.